Kwam 1 blocks a whole airplane, 1 month ban and ambassador. Comfort refuses to switch off her phone in prison and nationwide ban. Is that fair?
Let's compare both of them. Which of them do we think is more serious?
If we're being
On a scale of
honest,
things,
if we're
the
being-
comfort one is more
if we're
serious.
being- yes, comfort zone is more serious.
I don't think
Because,
so.
because
Hold on, brother.
that
I don't
can
think
interfere with
that's
signal
serious.
line and then kill everyone on board. What's alcohol going to
Yes,
do?
See, we are comparing an incident where demand actions occurred before the plane departed. Comfort's case was after the plane landed. Yes,
no. Comfort's case escalated after
True.
the plane landed.
Yeah.
Something has
Yes,
been happening on the plane that we do not
Yes,
have
but
record
the
of.
plane had already landed. So at the point of landing, it's no longer a safety issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Scatteryarn podcast, my people. Today we are at the airport, but not for travel. We're here to gist about two stories that shook social media, Nigerian and African social media in the last couple of days or weeks. Same Nigeria, same aviation rules, but somehow two different outcomes about that happened in these two stories that we're going to be talking about today. With me today, as usual, I've got my guy. Someone referred to him as the HBC, hot-blooded Casanova, Mr. Nelson Foshizu the Diesel. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great to my people. That person you introduced is not me. I am Nelson. Yo.
Which part of the intro are you denying? Is it the hot-blooded part or the Casanova
Which
part?
one
Because
you
you need
doing
to.
here? I know my blood dey hot. Yeah, as that. But that
So you can't see how Casanova joined that one.
Well, may I know that HBC is still better than HBK, which is heartbreak kid. So it's still all right. And then you also have my guy, the man that likes to live his life with no worries, doesn't smoke St. Morris, but he likes lorries. Mr. Dr. Morris.
And his name
His
is
name
Morris.
is Morris. Dr. Morris, how are you feeling today, sir?
I am doing very well, doing very, very good to be as a matter of fact. So good to be back, and let's go.
No, thank you for joining me as always. I really appreciate it. Now, here's how we're going to do it today. I'm going to lay out each story, and then we'll react to it, and then at the end we'll compare both stories. Are you guys ready? Okay. So the first story now, picture this: Abuja Airport in 5th of August 2025. There is a famous and legendary musician known as Kwam One, also known as K1 the Ultimate. King Wasiu, Cornerstone, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, a legendary Fuji maestro, is getting ready to board a ValueJet flight to Lagos. Right? That should be simple enough. But the issue here is he has a flask. Now that flask contains a liquid that is above 100 milliliters. That's the usual limit on either domestic and international flights. But this guy said that it's just water. But the security people at the airport were like, look, even though whether it's water or not, it's more than 100%, 100 milliliters, and they think it's alcohol. And come on, it's like, no, this is not alcohol. This is my doctor that prescribed this water for dehydration. I didn't know that there was a specially made doctor prescribed water, but I guess if you reach a legendary status, is different for everybody. Either ways, rules are rules. The staff asked him to surrender the flask. He said no. Kwame said no. And from there, things escalated quickly. Reports said that he poured some liquid out of that flask on cabin crew members. Some say pilot, some say security officer. But regardless of whoever he poured the liquid on, he was asked to leave the flight. So he was deboarded. And when he was deboarded, he went down to the tarmac and stood in front of the plane, literally trying to stop it from moving. Like, this is like a Nollywood movie, right? But the pilot was like, "Oh, you think you are crazy? You want to see crazy? I'm going to show you crazy." So the pilot, Captain Oluroti, a lovely female pilot, decided to still try to taxi as well, and he narrowly avoided Kwam and a ground staff. All right. So that part alone could have ended in disaster. Just imagine being run over by an airplane because of water or alcohol or no alcohol. Anyways, the authorities reacted. The National Aviation of Nigeria banned him for flying for 6 months, and they later reduced it to 1 month because he apologized on social media. That's Kwam apologized on social media, so they reduced 6 months to 1 month. And then the pilot, you can guess, he was suspended. The aviation minister also announced that because of Kwamwan's apology, Kwamwan will be appointed as an ambassador for airport security. Ambassador for the very same rules that he broke. So people are offended all over social media. Some people are saying yes, he was humble enough to apologize. Others were saying is this is celebrity privilege and all of that stuff. And especially if you compare it to the story two, which we'll talk about later down the line. But let's start with Nelson. What was your reaction when you first heard this story?
Okay, my reaction when I first heard the story, my honest reaction is I didn't care because of the kind of country I'm in. I honestly did not care until the next story that you are going to say.
Hmm.
Before I now started retrospecting and looking like, okay, I'm not surprised
Hmm.
that all of this happened because we're in a country where do you know who I am is more important than the actual law itself. So you stand up on your ground and be like, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Even when you are doing rubbish. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You get, so I don't condone nonsense, but I'm intelligent enough to know that I can do little to nothing about it. So I really just avoid all those kind of conversations. I really did not care. That was my honest opinion.
Hmm.
But now that we're having this conversation, and I have a lot to say.
Please go for it.
But if you're asking about how I felt, I didn't give two. It was just another Nigerian saga to me.
Hmm.
Do you get? Yeah.
So now I'm asking you. You said you have a lot to say, so tell us.
So for now, let me just answer it as you're
Okay,
asking
because we
me.
say you're hot blooded, you want to deny the allegation and say you're cold blooded. Okay, no problem. That's how you want to roll. Let's roll like that. Okay. Dr. Morris, what was your thoughts? Like even him just
You
trying to go
see,
and stand in front of the airplane to block, you know.
Okay, that in itself is an agberoistic behavior. You understand? That in itself is an admir- like you see, but if I don't like to do all this if that happened outside Nigeria because it obviously did it happened in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But if it did happen outside Nigeria, they could tell you that he's holding the people on the plane hostage, and that alone in itself is a crime, is a terrorist crime
Hmm.
because you don't even know if there are people that have emergencies on this plane. Oh, at first, yeah, you too, Kwamwan, you might have emergencies, but Kwamwan, you're a big boy. Really, that flax, really, really, you can buy 10 of that flax when you get to wherever you are going to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So it's just the ego and it's just ego play. Like, why will you, don't you know who I am? Like I started the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a country where don't you know who I am stands more ground than the law. Do you understand? They are telling you law, yeah, they are telling you facts, yeah. Even as Kwam one, he is Kwam one. If the situation was okay, boss, is 100 milli that is the maximum. Instead of spilling it on people, you can pour it gently.
Mm-hmm.
Say, are you happy now? I have less than 100. If anybody says anything there, you can now activate the do you know who I am?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but when you are not governable as a people, you are just. And another thing I picked from it is I hope I don't get lashed for saying this, but in everything you do in life, make sure you are the friend to the president of the country you are staying in. In everything you do in life, just endeavor to be the friend of the president. That's all.
Okay. Please, Dr. Morris, take it away. Because
okay.
I don't know, I'm
So
going
there
to
are so
be
many layers
friendly with the
to
president
this,
now, but I'll think about it.
right? Two things come to mind first. Just as you were giving the
Mm-hmm.
introduction, I remember that I saw a clip, just a snippet of when the guy was like trying to, you know, some people were trying to hold him back and he was in the
Yeah.
wrong way and it was moving very close to him. He had to like go back from it. But then when you went back to the story of what actually
Mm-hmm.
caused it, it then raises another question. How was he able to get that, you know, above 100 ml across the security checkpoint?
Hmm.
Because he shouldn't have had it in the first place inside the plane because at that point he had already
Mm-hmm.
boarded. or he was supposed to
Mhm.
board in. So that tells the story already that some rules had already been
Mm.
violated and he was let go. So I didn't even know that that was the cause. It was when he started talking I realized that, okay, so he managed to get that across security, which means because of his big boy status, he has now been successfully able to bypass the initial,
Let me now bust your head again
security.
on that big boy status. Like he went to stand in front of the plane. Now, if he was a regular person, that person be arrested straight away. This guy went home. This guy was able to go home, relax, not police station, as in he was able to relax and issue
Bro,
apology from his
bro,
house.
You know,
bro, they will
you
not
know,
arrest
funny.
you. I'm telling you, like I told you, they will treat it like it's an hostage situation. If you was a regular
Yeah.
person, in the country that I am in,
Hmm.
outside of Nigeria, they call it assault. But for Nigeria, they will beat you. You understand?
Yeah.
Like hand will
Uh,
touch you. Somebody
you know, you know,
somebody from nowhere will give
you
you
know,
a dirty slap. Like, what is your problem? Who the hell do you
you
think
know,
you
but the
are?
funny thing was when I saw the guy was like at the
Hmm.
wrong way, I felt, oh, this guy is courageous because I thought it was a
Hmm.
protest. I thought maybe he had something to prove. Maybe the airlines were not doing something right and he wanted to ground the flight by protesting against the flight moving. That's what I
Hmm.
thought. And in that case, I was like, okay, he's protesting because across the world, you see people on literally on runways, the Just Stop Oil
Hmm.
protesters. They would come on the runway.
Hmm.
Sometimes they would try to prevent it. So I thought that was what was
So
going
why
on
would Kwam be
initially until I
protesting?
later heard.
Like,
I don't. To
Against
be
the
fair, I never knew who
okay,
he
presidential
fair enough.
was.
administration.
I never heard that name in
You
my
don't
life
know.
Are you serious?
until
No more Nigeria,
I never knew
anyways,
who he was.
no,
Maybe because I don't listen
Fuji.
to
Oh, you
like
don't know Fuji. Okay,
Fuji music that
okay, fair
I
often.
enough.
don't
So
listen to
so
Fuji,
yeah.
but the part of the world where I grew up in, it's not possible for you not to have heard Command.
Yeah, maybe
You
it's
know,
where I
you
grew up
grew up
as
in
well.
the middle belt ish,
Yeah, South
south
South, yeah.
south. So it's not
Yes.
popular there. There will have been other people that were ruling your environment
Hmm.
that did maybe high
Yeah.
life
Oliver the Coke.
and that you will know their names. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So
but no. The thing is funny. Like coming to the tarmac, that's not a problem because we also know that if some of you can remember, about 20 years ago, 2003, 2004, there was
This have been clean.
we had someone that calls himself
Oh,
a revolutionary. Always put a towel around his neck. That's a signature move. He had a kerfuffle with 50 Cent's bodyguard. We've seen these stories reported. He's talked about it. Like two people from G Unit have talked about it. Young Box and Yaya have talked about it. Even Charlie Boy talked about it as well. Where he felt was disrespected on the plane. This is not even like airport security now. He was disrespected on the plane. He decided that I'm going to call Charlie Boy. He called Charlie Boy, and then some people came to stand in front of the plane to stop the plane from taking off. So that has happened before. I know you can say that's 20 years ago, and that times would have changed, but it's still the same Nigeria that we are in. Where if you are a celebrity, like Nelson said, know the president personally, know the aviation minister personally, you are able to get away with certain
so
things.
he in himself now, Kwamwan did not even pull out the president card. He was pulling out the card that he knows the owner of the air, like the airline.
Yes.
I don't know which one now.
But that just tells you the level at which impunity runs among the so-called elites in the country because it's one set of rules for them and then on a different set of rules for the rest of the world, especially when we bring in the second story, you see how that differs. And then when you really look at it, it's not just in terms of the implication of what happened afterwards, right? The
Yeah,
aftermath
let's
of
talk
the
about that.
event.
He was
He went to go
celebrated.
and
He was
apologize.
celebrated.
Yeah, but I know,
After
like
the
I said,
apology, he was celebrated.
yeah, but in his
He was
apology, was saying he's
celebrated.
apologizing to the president, etc., and then the aviation minister, right? First of all, they reduced his
Yeah.
6 month ban to 1 month. I'm guessing that one will be from the airline people. I'm guessing, I don't know, speculation. But the aviation minister now
Yeah.
said that because he has apologized, they'll make him an ambassador. Like I said, an ambassador for something, for the crimes that or the offense that he made. Like, do you think that if
So
you can apologize?
so
Well, first, let me ask you this. Do you think the apology should count for something in cases like this? First of all.
See, the what this whole situation shows is that you're being rewarded. Let's not get it twisted. He was being rewarded for his,
Embarrassment.
I don't know. Yeah, like because if they're making you a so-called ambassador, it's like you're you're getting opportunity by being
A
the way
nuisance.
you are,
Mhm.
by breaking the rules, by and that just tells you the level of which we're operating in the country. And I think it's totally
Yeah,
wrong
because some
on
people
so
are
many
praising him that at
levels.
least he came to apologize because people like in his status, he doesn't need to come and say anything publicly to apologize. He will just, he will just they've reduced his ban. They've made him an
So
ambassador.
the
He didn't
thing
need
is,
to say
the
it. So they
thing
were
is,
praising him that
I
at
don't
least he was
even think
humble enough
this
to
is
come and
my own stand.
apologize.
This is my own stand. This is my own stand.
the way I see it, sorry, the way I see it, apology was totally unnecessary in this case. Who are you apologizing for? Tell
So,
me,
uh,
are you apologizing
So
to the people you delayed their flight? Are you apologizing because at the end of the day, it should be you've made a mistake, then you should be accountable for it, because what then happens is if people make mistakes, not necessarily mistake, because that's not a mistake, that's a you've erred in so many ways, right? You've broken the rules and there's no consequence for that. What does that then tell the rest of the world, right? That it's okay as long as you apologize. And there are no
okay,
consequences. The so-called
don't
consequence
let's bash
was
him. Don't let
1 month
everybody just be
ban.
bashing him.
Uh,
Let's pretend that he was under the influence of alcohol. So
okay.
he came back to his senses after he got home, and he realized his wrongdoings, and he apologized. Nobody is above mistake, like he said. You
Yes,
understand?
but he never
So,
said he was under the influence of alcohol.
no,
So there has to be accountability.
we all know he was under the influence of alcohol
we
because
don't know.
there's
He
no
said his
reason why
water. He said his water is that's in his flask. His publicist says water that is
me
in
I
his flask.
believe I
Nobody,
believe the air
nobody, like
hostess.
there's nothing wrong with taking alcohol on the plane either. That's not against FAA, NCAA rules. So
Yeah.
it's not about the alcohol. It's about going over and harassing people and saying, "Who do you think? Like, do you know who I am?" And thinking that you can go and stand in front of the plane. Is that effrontery? The on how do you say it in Nigeria now on unwitted guile to go
But
and do that.
but my problem is, so if we are being honest, the reason he did not board the plane is not because of the content of what he had. It was because of how he disposed the content. If we are
Yes,
looking at
that
it
should be
and we are
assault.
trying to
Yes,
be if we are looking at it
yes.
and we are trying to be diplomatic, it's because of how because when they told him he wasn't allowed to take it on the plane, the information reaching us is that he now then spilled the content of what was with him, and it turned out to be alcohol. So it is the way he disposed the content that he is apologizing for. Do you understand?
Yeah, so but, like that
So
way, the
he is
Morris is
apologizing.
also correct again. He didn't even apologize to
Yeah.
the people that like for the plane. I've not seen the apology, so don't hold this
Exactly.
against me. So like
So it's the
he
way
should
no,
apologize
if
to
he
those people as
apologized to the
well.
president, then he has apologized to the people. If he
Uh
apologized to the president, then he has
But that
apologized
just
to the
tells
nation.
you he wasn't
is the angle you want to
apologizing.
take?
He was not
Okay.
apologizing for this. He was communicating an intention there. It's simple. Because why would you apologize to somebody that was not affected by your actions? The only people you owe an apology are those people that are directly affected by the actions,
So
right? So the
show me
people you
your
delayed
friend.
their
Show me your
flight, the
friend,
people you
and I'll
couldn't
tell
put
you who
on the
you are.
plane.
You have heard that saying, "Show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are." He knows that
Yeah.
if everybody in the nation already recognizes him as the friend to the president and is acting in
Yeah.
an unruly manner, he is dragging the name of his friend in the mud. So he needed to apologize to the most important person in the conversation, not necessarily who he offended.
No,
Let's give him a break
Yeah.
there.
yeah, we can give
But
we can I'm not there's nothing we can do. It has happened, it has happened. We can't give him a break or not.
My
But
real problem
I don't
is
think
the
that anyone
fact
was
that
thinking,
he
oh,
was
he's a friend with the
celebrating.
president. Everybody knows he's Kwam. Kwam is the legend, right? He will know a lot of people in high places. He said he knows the owner of the airline. But even let's pat down to the side. Let's talk about the ambassadorial role, right? Like,
That's what I was going
yeah.
to say.
do you think
Like,
it was smart to turn that his mistake to a teachable moment, or does it look like they were just rewarding bad behavior? If you're a
so the
celebrity, by
thing
the way.
is here. So the thing is, we are in a country where Naira Marley is an ambassador. Where who else is an ambassador of something that they do? Maybe E-money or somebody is an ambassador or something like that. So in this kind of animal farm that we are in, the title of ambassador is really uh, is watered down because the kind of ambassadors we have.
Yeah, because the aviation minister, Festus Keyamo, said that is like community service. So he's still kind of serving punishment for the wrong deed, you know. So, Abi, or must he go to
You
jail?
see,
Must he be like for me? I would say that because
let's
it's a
not get this
celebrity, it's
thing
an older man.
twisted.
Community service works, right? Ambassador works, but on the other hand, it's basically saying to other people that might be celebrities that you can do whatever you want and you will get a slap on the wrist. On the other hand, that's my own perspective on this.
The way I also see it is that in that whole situation, he was an
Oh,
oppressor. He was definitely trying to overpower, to use his influence, his connection, to basically show that this is who I am. You have to respect me. I don't have to play by the rules. So, what this whole thing is telling us is that we live in a situation whereby it is okay for oppressors to be, because the so-called
hmm,
punishment he got, that wasn't really a punishment,
hmm,
to be honest. That's not punishment. Okay, a 1 month ban. At first, it was a
hmm,
6 months ban, and then they reduced it because obviously it's going to inconvenience
yes,
his life. So they reduced it to a one
hmm,
month ban. I would have been fine with even the 6 months ban, on any flight. That way, it teaches you a lesson that, okay, maybe next time you should think twice. And it teaches other people as well. But the situation whereby you're basically, because they didn't want to just stop there to say, okay, we've reduced it to 1 month. Oh, let's make him an ambassador so he would campaign about, decent behaviors or some that would be the justification. But you and I know that it's total
hmm,
nonsense. So I think we need to live in a system whereby we are not rewarding oppressors. We call their bullshit for what it is, and they own up to their mistakes and not just half-hearted apologies. You come online and say you apologize to the president. What has the president got to do
hmm,
with anything? You know, and it's just outrageous,
okay,
to be
fair
honest.
enough. So basically, we can just say that he apologized, and maybe using him as an ambassador is a way to turn the scandal to a lesson for others. But on the other hand, it does feel like you rightly said that it does feel like celebrity privilege in action. Because let's be honest, if it was you or me standing in front of that plane, like the pilot was punished. Like
Mm,
there's no coming back for the pilot, right? Suspended. We won't be getting a press conference. We'll not be getting a new shiny title like an ambassador. We'll probably be in prison, in jail somewhere, and we'll be explaining ourselves in front of a judge. Now let's look at the second story. Something similar.
Oh, sorry. Just before we move on to the
Yeah.
second story, we didn't really touch more on the
Mm,
pilot's part because, again, what the pilot action depicts there is that it is okay for you to be aggressive towards somebody if they are aggressive towards you. And that also shows a lack of respect for rules in the pilot's part because, yes, the person may have been rude, the person may have been, but there are certain rules that you're supposed to follow in terms of safety for the passengers. You did not take that into consideration, and then you went ahead with people on the wrong way. And again, that is wrong. Again, yes, we're not saying because what some people would do would be because the man was wrong in the first place, and that kind of justifies the pilot action. What we are saying is that there should be a level playing field for everybody, both the pilot, both the man, and every other person involved in such a
yes.
situation where
Ideologically, I would agree with
So
you.
before you go
But
on, so I'm also
realistically,
going to add that
yeah, go on, sir.
in Nigeria, the ambassador rules, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the ambassador rules are often in Nigeria. The ambassador rules are often less about your alignment with your moral upbringing, your moral alignment. It's more about your level of popularity, your your social media influence and following, because we have various celebrities who are ambassadors, and you just laugh. The controversy is crazy. Portable is an ambassador for. I know you know Portable, Zazu, Zeh. Portable is
Yeah.
an ambassador for various this thing. Naira Marley was recently seen advocating for NDLEA. This is somebody that is a proud supporter of marijuana, and he was advocating for NDLEA. Tonto Dike, she's Bobrisky. Don't get me started.
Basically, what you're saying now, you're a celebrity in Nigeria, and you know the president according to what you said. You're kajad, you're solid. Now let's go to story number two. Now, story number two happened 5 days after story number one. Okay. Now, this concerned a lady known as Comfort. I'm not going to give you a full last name. You can find on social media if you want to. She was flying from from Uyo to Lagos on Ibom Air. So Kwam flew on ValueJet to Abuja, and this person flew on Ibom Air to Uyo. Now, what happened was that this lady, Comfort, refused to switch off her phone before takeoff. Now, domestically, in Nigerian airlines, you have to switch off your phone like before takeoff and before landing, right? So this lady reportedly refused to switch off her phone before takeoff. Now, the cabin crew insisted. A fellow passenger even grabbed her phone and switched off the phone. And that's where the wahala started. Now, according to the report, things escalated. There was shouting, there was scuffle, there was wigs flying. And by the time the plane landed in Lagos, Comfort allegedly assaulted the person who grabbed her phone, fought other crew members, and even tried to grab a fire extinguisher as a weapon. Now, viral videos showed her being dragged off the aircraft by security with her clothes torn, body exposed, and the video set social media on fire, basically. Now, unlike Kwam 1, the authorities did not wait around. She was detained. She was arraigned the next day on 5 counts of assault, 5 counts, including assault, and remanded straight to a prison called Kirikiri because she couldn't meet her 500,000 naira bail. Even Ibom Air placed a permanent ban on her. Kwam, they gave him 6 months, initially reduced to one, but this lady gave her permanent ban on the airline. Even airline operators of Nigeria in general extended it to a life that is all airports, all airline operators, sorry, said they're going to give her a lifetime ban as well. So not just one airline, all airlines now, flight ban. Remember the story number one. Now, it even took the minister, the aviation minister again, Festus Keyamo, to intervene to calm things down because I'm sure that he realized that 5 days earlier, there were a lot of things happening and it was lenient. He can't let this one like go again. So he intervened this time. And Ibom Air withdrew their complaint. They struck out the charges and the lifetime ban was lifted. But by then, all of the humiliation and trauma had already been sealed in those viral videos. Now, Comfort, the lady later shared her own side of the story. She said that her phone had a fault in the power button. She had already shown this to one of the cabin crew. She claimed that the crew was aggressive. They pulled her wig, they damaged her jewelry, they stopped her from disembarking, and that's why she reacted the way she reacted. Again, social media was split down the middle. Some said she endangered the life of others. Some others say that the cabin crew overreacted and violated her dignity. So, where do you guys stand on this? I know that Mr. Nelson, you are abreast again of all this situation. So, where do you stand?
Okay.
I stand.
Before we address okay, go on, go on.
I'm just going to say one sentence so you can go on. I stand with Comfort.
Okay, good. Okay, before we address the most disturbing part of this whole comfort saga, let's then go back to what may have caused it in the first place, right? Um, from my understanding, is it compulsory to switch off your phone? I don't know if there's a separate rules for Nigerian
Yes. In
airlines, but
Nigerian
So
Airlines,
I
yes,
must have.
so because
So in Nigerian airlines,
yes.
to
yes,
switch
because
off your phone.
most Nigerian airlines use small old planes. Like Most of them
Okay.
use used planes. No Nigerian airline is using a new plane. They use used planes, and these planes are small, and they need all your phones to be off so it doesn't interfere with the radio of the plane when they are receiving signals for landing, takeoff, whatever situation it might be, even in the air. And it's a local flight, so they probably might be receiving signals
Oh,
from their takeoff to their drop off. So they need your phones to be off. Not necessarily that it's going to affect anything. It's just that it's the
fair enough.
appropriate thing to do.
Okay. Now
Yes.
there
It's a
So
precaution, yeah.
yeah, what was your
you
yeah,
you,
it's a precaution.
so there are two things about what you just said. Now, for most people would assume, I would like to think that for most sane people who don't know the reasons why this is the case, they would assume it is safe when your phone is in air flight mode. That's what I
So
would like to think. I for myself
don't
didn't know about this rule, right?
don't
So I thought,
don't think that
right?
don't think you are wrong, because I didn't know this until the comfort saga. Because now I was bothered. Like I said, I didn't care about the Kwam 1P, but now I cared
Exactly.
about this person's situation, and I actually googled it and asked questions from AI that told me this that I
Exactly.
just told.
So,
So it's not like I
but
knew it before.
that also
I
tells you
personally, let me now bust your head. Personally, on every plane that I've been on, locally, I don't know about international, because the times when I travel international, I used to pay attention because I
yes.
mean, but every local plane I've been on, brother, I never turned on my phone. So all of this that happened between both Kwamwan, both the person is an ego problem, because I'm with Comfort. Oh, don't get me wrong, but Comfort too had some misdemeanor in our way of handling the situation, because I'm not advising whoever is watching this to do this, but there is what we call emotional intelligence. Somebody tells you to put off your phone, you act like you are putting it off. The person walks away. It's not a teacher, it's not a lecturer that is going to stand and impound you. You must have that phone. No. Okay, let me do that right away. Do you understand? So you pretend like you're off feeling, and
Yeah.
he walks away, you put the phone in your bag. But Comfort, being a lady,
Is
was
But
probably
let's say
having all these
what if you are
unnecessary
to believe
conversations.
her own side of the story, that she said the power button has a problem? That's one side. I know that they said the person actually switched it off, oh, but she said her phone has a problem. What if we are to just believe what she said and she cannot switch off the phone?
exactly. So that's another thing. So
So
because
I think
another
a
thing
plane
is
should
this,
have a
let's not
box
forget.
where you can put those type of items in. I would believe that the plane should
Okay.
actually, in
Okay.
situations like that,
Okay.
they should have actually created somewhere like a box that will not interfere with anything. Then you can just put some gadgets in it. But I doubt it's available, because these planes are old and they are local. So yeah, and then again, the real thing that sparked the, because if you look at it, what my brother said there, the host said, he said that they collected her phone, meaning when she didn't turn it off, they confiscated it. And now that means she, even if she could not turn it off, she followed some rule to an extent, because she allowed them confiscate the phone. It was when they landed, I think the conversation now be occurred, like, okay, where is my phone? Because I heard her screaming in the video, give me my phone or something like that, where's my phone or something like that. Before you now start hearing that, oh, she's destroying the plane. Because for me to be very, very abreast with the situation, I watched that video multiple times,
Hmm.
so that I could, be able to pick what exactly happened. And if you notice, yeah, this is something I've told a lot of people that had this conversation with me. I know we haven't gotten there in this conversation, but I would like you, if you are watching this, go and watch that video again. When Comfort was being carried out of the plane by those men, which you could call assault, those men were careful enough to hold her by her hand and her legs. Not in any situation did they touch her personal body, like her bum or her breast. He was a cabin crew member on that plane that stretched forth her hand. Permit me to say her, because if you watch the video, you will see when two ladies stepped back for the men to come in and pick her out. Those ladies did not get off the plane. They stayed in the cockpit area where they give you leg room to pass. So when those men were dragging her out, I saw a hand stretch and drag Comfort's dress. If I am Comfort's lawyer, the person that dragged that dress and the person recording that video need to be held to book, because this incident happened on the airline, like on the plane. It happened in the plane. So Ibom Air is liable because this was done by their staff. If you see when they were dragging her off the plane, they were carrying her by her legs and her hands. Even when she got out of the plane, you will see that she had a smirk on her face and she was talking back at that lady that you are laughing at me, you are laughing after what you did. I will show you. That was the last thing she said in the video before whoever was recording it cut it off. So you will see that it was a vindictive move. Like she I know I'm a Nigerian, but people are saying that she assaulted the air hostess. That thing will be assault. He never slap you. He will still assault. Do you understand? When I assault you, you will feel
Well, assault is
assaulted.
assault. Whether you, what according to law, if you, even if you think about it, if
I
you think of,
know. In
if
this
I do
part of
this,
the
it's already
world, in
assault.
this part of the world,
Hmm.
if you do this without touching me,
Yes, it's all about intentions.
are you
Yes,
serious?
yes.
We learn every day. Sha, in this part of the world, if blood never come out, they never assault
No,
you.
no. It is that part. It is that part of the world that is law everywhere. Intention. Law
Okay.
always look at intention.
But but
Yeah, go on.
but the thing, right? Before you drag someone off a plane like that, let's not try. The
Look, let's not first
I
of all,
would
let's not
like
act
to
like Solena in
assume.
Nigeria they drag people out of the plane. I remember some couple of years ago in America as well, United Airlines, where that
Yeah,
doctor refused to give up his seat because the flight was overbooked. And they
yeah,
brought in some security people to come and drag him out. And remember there was blood on his nose, all of those things. So it's not only in Nigeria, it's like
yeah.
that's like airline protocol. If you don't want to get up, we will forcibly
Exactly.
remove you. But yes,
Yes,
you're right, they don't need to
yes.
tear your clothes, they don't need to like beat you up or anything, but
But
it happens everywhere.
but all that is about safety. Emphasis is on safety of other
Yeah.
passengers. Safety.
Now the safety thing
Now,
is they
at
already
that
took off
point,
and landed. So why it's no longer a safety thing? That's where
exactly.
that's the
So it's
big
no longer
issue.
a safety
Yeah.
issue. So
No,
there
no, no.
was
You
no
have to look at
reason,
it that
absolutely
so for
whatsoever.
an airline, in defense of the airline, you have to look at it from different and various angles. Look at it from this perspective. These
Yeah.
airlines don't have numerous planes. Immediately the plane is landing, they are servicing it for the next trip. Do you understand?
Yeah, no,
So we
but
do
the
not
thing
Yeah.
know
is
the
you already
itinerary.
found out that you already found out that the person doesn't switch off the phone before takeoff. I don't know because what we know so far, we don't know whether they saw the phone like mid-flight.
Mhm.
I'm going to assume that
It's
already the
always
story
it's
came
always
out.
during taxi now. The plane is already moving. The plane is already moving
Okay.
when they tell you to switch off.
Yeah, so no, they were announced before. Yeah, but either ways, you stop if it's a safety issue, you stop the plane and then tell
The
the person
time
to
when
come
they
out.
enforce, the
The
time when
same
they
way they told
enforce
Kwam
is
one
when during
to
taxi.
on
They
board,
will
or it
announce,
was
do the
deboarded.
whole
They should have
announcement.
deboarded
Then
Exactly.
they
her
will
as well.
enforce it during the taxi when the plane is about to taxi.
But that's also another thing. It just tells you that that wasn't a safety issue. That was basically a political statement because someone
Mhm.
recorded it, not just that they had the effrontery and the audacity. Maybe they recorded it for sake, for record's sake, so the person doesn't come back and say, "Okay, you assaulted me" or something. So that's fine. Might have had a genuine reason to record that, but they went ahead and posted it definitely without the person's
Mm.
consent. Um, Online, so that's also another
Yeah.
different situation entirely, which is just um
So that's why I said
so
the lady
and
that tore her dress and the person that recorded that video are both liable
yeah,
and they should be held to book. Comfort was
okay.
wrong not to have turned off her phone or act in a civil manner and
Mhm.
talk her way out of the situation. Because the moment you lift your hand to hit anybody, anything where you take your eyes see,
Hmm.
now you know.
Right. So let's slowly
Because
wind down and compare. Right. Let's run it by comparing because that's what I said we'll do at the beginning. Right.
Okay.
So let's put the two stories side by side. Kwam one blocks a whole airplane,
Yeah.
1 month ban, and ambassador. Right. Comfort refuses to switch off her phone, allegedly assaulted some people, but she's in prison and nationwide ban. Is that fair?
So let's compare both of them. Which of them do we think is more serious on a scale of things? I think
So
I don't know, but
if we are being
On a scale of
honest,
things, the comfort one is more
if we are being
serious.
yes, comfort zone is more serious.
I don't think
because
so.
Hold
because
on, brother.
I
that
don't
can
think
interfere
it's
with
Hold
more
on.
signal
serious.
and then kill everyone on board. What is alcohol going to
Yes,
do? Oh, okay, pass
comfort
because the
zone.
alcohol stuff was implemented after 9/11 to say maybe it can be acid or to try to reduce all the liquid. All of that is since post 9/11. There's no actual um safety reason behind it apart from trying to reduce like any kind of chemicals we're taking on board and all of that stuff. But the signal
Yeah, but the
blocking.
plane had already
Yes,
landed
I
at the
know, but
time
the
that
the,
this
pur-
whole
the purpose the purpose
declaration
of the rule
began.
is for safety, right? All of the planes that
Okay.
clashed in Nigeria might be because of people like Pisu that refuse to switch on their phone. We don't know because they never told us the reason. But you don't know. Like I'm sure that's why that passenger that was beside her decided to take the phone as well and switch it off because she's thinking, I don't want to die. You let me switch off my phone here. You know.
See, we are comparing an incident where the man's actions occurred before the plane
Hmm.
departed, and Comfort's case was after the plane landed. Yes,
No,
the
no, no.
oh,
Comfort's case
wait,
escalated after
True.
the plane landed.
Yes.
Something has been
yes, but
happening on the plane that we do not
yes,
have
but
record of.
the plane had already landed. So at the point of landing, it's no longer a safety issue. I would like to think so, but I may be wrong
Okay.
here
So
because the plane has already landed.
what you are mixing up is the actual mess up, the misdemeanor.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Okay.
This person's misdemeanor, whenever, so you now cramp yourself to just the video you saw. Do you understand?
Okay.
You need to
Yeah.
understand that she did something that led to that.
Yes. The initial
Because
action.
they,
Yes.
yes, there was an action. What we saw is the reaction. In Kwamwan's
Yes.
case, we didn't see his action either because what we saw was Kwamwan's reaction. Yeah.
Okay.
So in Kwamwan's case, his reaction was, if we are being totally honest, was more of an, like you said in the beginning, you said he's a very brave guy, was more of an endangerment to his own life than it was to the
Okay.
people on board. Because if that plane had hit him, I promise you, it won't stop the plane from flying. The plane will still take off.
Standard.
Even
I
if
don't
people
know
would
about
like to say
no,
he could
you
have
see,
he could
the
have
point
caused
I'm
the
trying
plane
to
crash,
make is this.
like the pilots
Okay.
could have swerved to try and dodge
Which he
him
did, which
and go
he
and
actually did last second, Abby. Yeah.
dodge
So,
him all that. But this lady here, you are not only endangering your own life, you are
yeah.
invariably endangering the life of everybody on board the plane.
Okay.
So
That has been established.
it is
Okay.
understandable that they intentionally want to put her in her place. And
That is the
if I
big
am
issue. Yeah,
the
that's the big
if
the
I,
crux of the issue.
if I am the air hostess here, yeah, I understand that. See, all fingers are not equal. Do you get? But because the son of the king did something, then which was I find unruly. Then you, who is maybe somebody in the town, whoever it might be, now want to take advantage of this and be like, if the son of the king could have done this, I will do this too.
I get what you're
It
saying.
doesn't
See,
erode you from getting punished.
this is the point I'm
Like
trying to
it
make.
doesn't evade your punishment because the son of the king did
Yeah.
it, you two are now doing it. They will punish you
Yes.
double so that you can be a lesson to other paupers around you. That don't think because kings are doing this is his right. He's only allowed to do it because his name is what? Kwamwan. So in life,
Okay.
before you misbehave, when you are going out, check your social currency. If this fuck up that I want to fuck up now, can my social currency back me when push comes to shove? For instance, you don't know somebody, you are walking on the street, there's an argument between the two of you, and you raise your hand and slap the person. You have never met this person before in your life. You don't know if this person has training of training of how to kill somebody with one punch. You know nothing about this person, and you slap this person without checking your social currency. Anything that happens to you, they might hold the person liable, but the whole world knows say na you fuck up.
Right.
You understand?
You- the reason why I'm emphasizing on this is because I think where the issue lies is not the fact that what Comfort did was right or wrong, right? We've already established
That she
that
was wrong. They were both wrong.
it was wrong, right? But that her act did not affect the safety of the plane because the plane had already landed.
If
That's the point
so,
I'm
what,
making
It
here.
wait,
landed because they
what we
took
are
the phone
correcting
from
is
her.
that
Yes, that's fine. That's
Mm.
established.
so
So
the,
what then follows afterwards was a situation whereby there was obviously she was stripped, she was dragged, she was arrested, she was immediately almost prosecuted. But that shows a different, especially when we compare it to
no,
the other
it wasn't
incident of the
almost.
Kwam
She
guy.
was prosecuted immediately.
See,
It's only the
exactly.
grace of God that now vindicated her, gave her some kind of a lifeline. She was legit prosecuted
Straight away.
immediately.
Yeah. And that's what should have
So
happened to Kwam one if it wasn't Kwam one. So
exactly.
obviously
Because that girl slept in Kirikiri now.
yes.
She didn't go
We know the
home.
answer to the question.
But at the
We
end
know
of
the
the
answer to
day,
the question. That's what I'm
but
asking.
that's
Is it
the
fair? Is it fair? We know the answer to the question.
it's
Nelson has
definitely
already
not
said
fair
it
because
already.
what we are
But
seeing there is a clear case of selective justice because two people steal the same or committed a similar offense and one person gets thrown in jail indefinitely and the other person was literally escorted out of the airport and was even given a tiny slap on the wrist to say, oh, okay, don't do it next time. And
So
it
it's
doesn't
wrong
even
for
make
you to
any
just say,
sense.
was he fair? Was he wrong? Like I said, in life, all fingers are not equal.
No, but that's what we are trying to change, isn't it? Why should we be saying? Because what you're saying is that we should accept the fact that it is okay for some people to misbehave if they have the backing or the social currency to do that,
yeah,
right?
on the one hand, no, but on the other hand, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Morris,
Because
Morris, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make it right.
yeah,
Argue with your keypad if you are a commenter.
No, but also two wrongs cannot make it right. You know.
yeah, but but you know what this thing just reminds me of? When we, for example, if you travel a lot, right, you would see the way African airlines, Africans in general, are treated in an international scale, right? So there's this sort of, I don't want to say a colonial mentality still associated with the way Africans are treated in general. But the most painful part is that we are doing the same thing because it's all a case of superiority. I'm superior to you. That's why they would, you go to a certain country and you'll be scanned and treated in an inhumane way just because of the color of your passport, right? It's the same thing that happens here. The man is treated in a different way because he has a so-called high status. It's not. It's very similar, and that's some of the things we are essentially trying to speak up against. That it shouldn't be the case. There shouldn't be a class system, even with our own small domestic airline. It's like,
Yeah.
come on,
So,
you
so,
know.
so, so let me now bust your head here. I remember now that I actually had an opinion about the Kwamwan thing, but I debunked it immediately. When I saw him in that saga, I actually thought he was going to board a private jet. Do you understand? It was when I now realized that there was a saga, I realized that, oh, it was a local flight. So even me personally, not like I've downgraded him, but I've placed him in a place where I didn't expect that he will be caught on a local flight. So even when I was having the conversations with my
No,
friend, I
but
was
that's about choice, though. Right? We have seen Kanye West fly economy many times. Like you know,
so, yeah, I get. So I was even thinking that maybe he had a show that he had to be at, and not being on that plane is going to cost him some money. That was my line of thought. That okay, maybe there's a financial reason why he has to be on that very plane. Do you understand? So
look, some people
your mom,
are financially smart. They don't, why do you want to spend 20 million on a airline when for a 1 hour flight when you can spend 200,000? Like, yeah, I know Nigeria is a flexing society, but like I said, the real people that have money don't flex like that. Billionaires they take business class. They can buy private jet, but they don't want to. They choose to fly business class. Dangote does not have a private jet. You understand? So there we have it, right? It's just financial literacy. The people that have money, real that work hard for their money, they flex differently. They flex with the properties,
Yeah.
they flex with their investments, they flex with their portfolios. Now, trust fund babies or people people that want to just that made money just like that, that decide to just burn it. But anyways, that's a conversation for
Yeah.
another day. You know,
Okay. Before I know very soon you soon tell
we are
us to
wrapping up.
wrap up.
Yes.
There's one important point that I wanted to also touch on, and that's the fact that are we looking because again, if you look at the whole debacle surrounding these two scenarios now, what we are looking at is a situation whereby there's a system of justice in place, but I don't think any of that was even taken into account because first thing we had a situation whereby the first guy got a pardon from the government. The second lady also got a so-called pardon from the government. So is it that we are saying that the whole justice system is a theater of sorts whereby the government can just step in and say, "Oh, you made a mistake, but we forgive you," because that's the same thing that occurs in our society
Hmm.
every day. If the lady in question deserved to be sent to prison, then why are we pardoning her? If the same thing also applies to the other guy, if the Kwam guy deserved to, be placed on a lifetime ban and go to prison, why are we also pardoning him and rewarding him for his behaviors? So that just tells you that none of this was ever about justice. Because when you look about at it, it's a way of demonstrating power. Because at the end of the day, who has the most power? Who has the most influence? The most influential people came in. The Minister of Aviation came out and said, "We are going to pardon them on compassion base." Oh, this person wasn't treated right. But again, that also goes into the problem that we're talking about. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be pardoned. I'm just saying, where does it end? Because a politician might commit a crime and then the justice, the president say, "Oh, he or she is pardoned for their grievances." That's the same thing we're seeing. So I think that's also an important aspect. I'm not
No.
saying they should be let go of their crime, but at the same time, if you can do the crime, then you should be able to do the
All
time
right,
as well.
fair enough.
So
Well, so there you have it, people. There are two people, two airports, two different outcomes. One ended with a title, the other one ended with torn clothes and prison. At the heart of these stories, we have to basically ask ourselves: Are people in this situation, right? Are they regulating safety, or were they regulating status? And Dr. Morris has kind of rounded it up very, very well. So, Scatteryarn family, I would like to hear your thoughts. Should celebrities be treated differently, or should justice truly be blind? Until next time, when you're getting on the airport, please keep your flasks empty, keep your phone switch off, and keep your wigs secure. You never know when airport gist will scatter your yarn. Okay, thank you to my guy Nelson. Thank you to my guy Dr. Morris for joining on this one. Until next time, I always say stay safe, stay curious, question everything, and most importantly, use your brain. SCFA. Peace.